Good evening, and welcome back to The Spear and the Sea, the solo Pathfinder playthrough of the Skull and Shackles adventure path. Cheers! I am the GM and players and everything else, Chris Bernal, also known as Crifu Bernal on the interwebs. And I am, as always, excited to be here. It is episode 3, and it is the 4th day at sea for our newly minted pirates, Spear and Hazlen. It's been a rough few days. They were press-ganged into service aboard the pirate ship, the Wormwood. Press-ganged meaning they were kidnapped in the middle of the night, either drugged, drunk, or beaten, and taken aboard the ship. And when they woke in the morning, they were far out to sea, unable to return. There, the notorious Mr. Plug and his minion, Master Scourge, immediately put them to work, all under the laissez-faire thumb of Captain Harrigan. On this day, somewhere close to midday, it is a very warm day at the end of Gozrin, April, on the world of Golarion. And in the middle of the day, when the sun was high in the sky, a young man came out from below decks, shouting about rats in the bilge. Of course, Mr. Plug, not being big fans of our heroes, decided to send them down into the bilge, and also sent along their new friend Sandara Quinn, a minor priestess of the goddess Besmara, the Pirate Queen. So the three of them stand above the trap door to the bilge, kind of unsure of themselves. I think first we see Sandara, a tattooed woman, tattoos going up her arms and all across her shoulders. She's wearing a brown, like a buccaneer's hat with a seagull feather in it. Is unarmored, but is wearing a wooden symbol of Besmara, a sort of skull and crossbones on what looks like a sort of wooden flag. She stands there, not looking nervous at all, actually, looking prepared for a fight. I think she is like holding on to her medallion and uttering a quick prayer to Besmara herself. And I think we see this, as she does, this skull and crossbones like flashes across her chest, and we can hear this noise as instant armor, a sort of opaque force of what looks like kind of studded leather armor in black appears around her body. The camera turns to... that's really loud. Turns downwards to the small gnomish man next to her. He is quite tanned with rosy cheeks, startling green eyes, and silver hair. He's wearing a kind of flat-crowned, black-brimmed hat, and perched on a pauldron on his shoulder is a tough-looking sea. Hazlen sees Sandara arming herself, and with a flick of his hands, we can see a invisible shield of force appear around him as mage armor. Then the camera goes to our our final hero, the tallest one here, a quite broad-shouldered, thick man with tanned olive skin and dark black hair nestled in between the bone ridges on either side of the crown of his head. I think Spear probably does the same. Grabs the long spear from his side. He no longer has his shield or any of his armor. That was all taken from him. So in fact, actually, yeah, he grabs the spear from his back, grabs the medallion around his neck, and as he prays to Besmara as well, a shimmering magical field appears around him, not as striking as the armor around Sandara, but still something at the very least to make sure that he at least has some armor against the dire rats below. Go ahead and add that. It's only a +2 for him. I really do need to get him some armor at some point. Ugh. And then they all kind of nod at each other and begin climbing down. That's a little loud. There we go. As the three of them make it down into the bottom of the bilge, all standing in this kind of brackish water, Hazlen himself, the water kind of coming up to almost his waist, being such a small creature. 5 rats crawl out of these bales of hay. Is it hay that they crawl out of? Barley, dodgy consignment of barley. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and roll some inish. The rats have some concealment, so they may actually get a surprise round off on our heroes. Let me just check that music. Feels a little loud for me. There we go. I think that's much better. Shout out in the chat if the music is working for you at the level that it's at. Okay, we're looking at Spear and Hazlen, +1 and a +4 initiative for them. +4. We're looking at Sandara. She's got a +1, and the rats all have +5. So even if they don't get the surprise round off, they may very likely go first anyway. Because I don't think that they're being particularly sneaky. Our heroes are quite aware that they're there. However, the water is so tall, these small creatures actually have concealment, which means that there is a 5% chance that attacks won't hit them. Fortunately, Hazlen has something similar, being the same size as these rats. Can you imagine? A rat so big that if it stood up on its hind legs, it was almost as tall as you. No, that's awful. I hate that. I hate that. And I think Hawk, the seagull, will go ahead and take off, flying up into the air, trying to stay above all of this racket. We don't need him involved in any. Okay, so let me make sure I've got all my conditions on. Instant armor for Sandara. Instant armor. The armor axe in all ways is armor typical of its type. So we're probably looking at, what is it? Hold on, time to go to the AP for this, just to double check. Sandara. Yeah, instant armor prepared here. See the advanced player's guide. It's not giving us anything more than that. There, increases her AC to 17. Very nice. Yeah, 17. There it is. Of course, I've already prepped it. Okay, so as soon as they step down, our rats begin making their moves. This rat's gonna swish, slosh through the water, attempting to bite our good man here. That's a 20. That's definitely going to hit Spear. He's currently sitting at a, what was it? What did I say? 14 AC with his Shield of Faith? 13. That's shitty, Spear. You got to get that up, my friend. So this rat's going to do some damage. And of course, these dire rats are also diseased. Luckily, that's only 1 point of damage. However, I'm going to need Spear to make a Fortitude save. That's his best one, so hopefully should be good to go. Whoops. I got all these hotkeys set up. 21. He is A-okay against that bite. This second dire rat's going to dart forward, moving to bite out at our man Hazlen. The rat should only be, +1. I don't know where I got that 3 earlier. That's still a 20 against Hazlen. Luckily, most of his body is in the water. Because I'm assuming if the rats have concealment, well, no. The rats are long this way. Hazlen's long this way, so he's not going to get concealment. He is going to take that some damage. Of course, 4 points of damage. Hazlen has bad luck when it comes to this. Hopefully, he is not also going to get diseased, but I think by the end of this fight, it is inevitable that any of them may get disease. And that's a 12 against our DC is 11. He barely fights that off. If anything, they're also flat-footed during this combat, so not good. It is Sandara's turn. She has a masterwork rapier. So I think what she's going to do is... She also has some spells she could throw up. Summon monster might be nice if I had prepared anything for it. Although, I don't know if it would be that big of a deal just to summon a small water elemental. So she's going to go ahead and take a 5-foot step back. She, checking the components, holds on to her medallion and begins muttering under her breath, Besmara, please. Besmara, please send something to help us. Send something to help us. And she begins casting Summon Monster 2. So hopefully that should help things out here. This dire rat here is going to move up. I don't think that they're particularly intelligent, so I don't know if they would, think about maneuvering for flanking. So we'll just go ahead and take that bite action against Spear. That's an 8. So it goes to bite, and Spear just kind of takes a step back, his his feet and boots moving through the murky water. And now it's Spear's turn. Don't forget, our heroes, Spear and Hazlen, are both mythic. So they get these extra attacks and abilities during each of their turns. Like about 7 times a day they can use their mythic power pool, essentially. So I think right off the bat, I can't imagine I'm getting into any more combats today, unless things go terribly, terribly wrong. Spear is going to go ahead and take his spear and do a... I feel like I should be power attacking as well. Where is my power attack? Flanking. I'll just have to remember it. I feel like it should show up here under activated abilities. Maybe under adjustments? I'm using the original Hero Lab, by the way. Power. Conferred ability adjustments? Power. No, I don't see anything here for power attack. I feel like it should pop up in play, but I don't... Oh, there it is. That was just 1 down. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on power attack. That is lowering his ability to hit, but if he does hit, he'll do way more damage. And we're going to throw a what was it called? Sudden attack. One of his mythic abilities. As a swift action, you can expend 1 use of mythic power to make a melee attack at your highest attack bonus, and we do it with advantage. So he's getting +3 to both of these attacks. I'm just going to go ahead and roll 2d20. Oh, 19 and a 20. Let's go ahead and confirm that. That does not confirm, unfortunately, but he's going to go ahead and do damage. And he's doing extra damage because he's got power attack on. 1d8 plus 7. He does 9 points of damage. As he literally just suddenly strikes, like, oh no, the rats have concealment. Let me just double check. Concealment, I think, is a 5% chance. Out there in chat, feel free to chime in. Concealment. Or is it 10%? Oh shit, it's 20%. Oh my god, where did I pull 5 out of my ass from? Wow. Okay, so that could kill it. And it does. Thank Besmara. I do not want to get into this any further than I need to. Boom, that rat is dead and dying in the water. He spears it suddenly. Thanks, GG Wow, 20%. He spears it suddenly, striking like an eel emerging from its cave underwater, and goes to bring the spear down. One rat, he kind of almost picks it up and moves it onto the other one. Still power attacking. Oh my god, natural 20. Then we confirm that strike. So that's going to be 2d8 plus 14. It's dead. And in fact, it's not just dying, it's dead. What was it? Minus 28. Boom. And as he goes to 20 out of 100 is a 5% chance. Thank you very much for that. He literally kind of brings the spear up, 2 rats on its end, and hurls it against the wall. Both of them slamming against the wall here next to Sandara, who's barely bothered by it. So intensely focused is she on her prayer to Besmara. Wonderful. GG Wow, I did take your advice. This fight was supposed to have 6 rats initially. Because we're running with less PCs than we normally would, I lowered it to 5 and brought in their NPC ally. They're one person on the ship that they are guaranteed to be friends with. a level 3 cleric. So they're both level 1 gestalt mythic characters. They've got a lot going on for them. But at the very least, Sandara can, help out with something. Okay, we've got another dire rat. These dire rats are both dead. We'll go ahead and move them out. It is partial cover. Thank you. This dire rat is going to go ahead and move up into place. Oh shit! I needed to roll another. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure I had to roll another concealment for the rat that spear critted on. This rat is moving up and is going to go and bite out at our good friend Spear. That's an 8. Spear easily dodges it. Something in his eyes almost changing to slits, and in his neck and his ears, his heart begins to beat like a war drum. It is Hazlen's turn. He's taken some damage, but I've still got the adventure path pulled up. There we go. He's taken some. Yeah, the lack of armor is really crucial. I mean, they all have their magical armor up, but being press ganged on board the ship and having their gear taken from them is really kind of crippling their ability to be effective in combat. Hazlen. He will use his roguish ability and is going to use a swift action to make a surprise strike. So he pulls a dagger from his. He's gonna need this. He pulls a dagger from his vest, his jacket. Daggers that Sandara gave to the pair of them the day before, and he quickly pulls it out and throws it down, quick as a whip, against the rat. The rat is going to be flat-footed against this strike, and that's definitely going to hit. So he's going to do 1d3 -1 plus sneak attack damage, which is 1d6. Well, he rolled a 1, so -1, that's a 0, plus the 2 from sneak attack damage. The rat takes 2 damage, and he's going to grab the second dagger and go to stab out at it. That is oh my gosh, concealment. 88. Oh, we good. Okay. Unfortunately, the second strike is not flat-footed, and so he goes out to stab at the rat, who has quickly moved out of the way after having some of its fur sliced off by the thrown dagger. Oh, thank you, GG Wow. Minimum damage is always 1, so we're going to actually call that 3 points of damage. The rat is direly wounded. This rat is going to move up. Again, they're not intelligent creatures, so I can't imagine that they're interested in flanking or getting any kind of bonuses like that. I just don't see why they would try to do that. So they're going to go ahead and get that bitage happening against Hazlen for a 4. That's most definitely not going to hit. And we're back to the first rat that ran up to Hazlen. Again, they're not intelligent, and this is the only home they know, so they're going to fight to the death. If they run back to try and hide into the barley that's situated here on the more dry end of the bilge, it's more than likely that they'll die anyway. And actually, DM, kind of like spoiler behind the screen a little bit, we know that our heroes aren't going to die against these rats. I think what the point of these rats is to get them diseased and make their next several days on board even more uncomfortable than the last few have been already. So here we go for the bite. Ooh, dirty 20. That's definitely going to hit. So we're doing 1d4 damage. That's 2 points of damage to our gnomish friend Hazlen. And Hazlen, on top of that, is going to make a fortitude. That's only a +1. Ooh, and that's a 3. Hazlen is definitely diseased. I think that's Filth fever. And so at the end of this combat, we will be getting, we'll roll to see how quickly. Well, actually, let's go ahead and roll now. See how this Filth fever, its onset is 1d3 days. 3 days. So let's make a note here. Hazlen will have Filth fever in 3 days. You almost, with disease, you almost want the disease to come quicker than otherwise, because it just would not. It's harder to deal with the longer it takes for it to pop up. Sandara finishes her casting. So for this, we're going to need a water elemental. A small one. And it's going to pop up right here. A small water elemental the size of a shark appears here on the other side of this rat. Noise. Pull up rules for small water elemental. As she finishes her spell, it appears on the other side of this rat and is going to go ahead and slam into it. 20 plus 5. Oh, lame. 7. Okay, it does not work, but Sandara has her whole turn left. And she's lucky in the fact that she's got like actual weapons on her. So she draws her masterwork rapier and is going to move up here underneath the flying hawk and go to stabby stab with her rapier out at this rat. 15. That is going to hit, but first let's roll for concealment. 95. Excellent. That concealment hasn't worked once against these creatures. Minimum 2 points of damage. Not great, but it is something. Here comes Spear. We're going to go ahead and do a regular attack right off the bat with his spear. Before potentially using that mythic power sudden attack. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and use sudden attack. Roll this with advantage. Oh, spear. No. Okay, so the rat is moving in the water, kind of like moving in between his feet, and he's just like kind of stabbing into the ground, hitting the wood, pulling it out, stabbing and pulling it out, unable to properly target this. I think the rat is going to take a 5-foot step over here and go for, because there's commotion in the water over here. Something smells different, and it's going to go ahead and make that bite attack against our friend's spear. Hopefully gonna disease him. That's a 9. It is not going to strike. Spear kind of kicks back the rat as he sees where it's coming. Hazlen's in a good spot here. He's flanking now, so he's automatically gonna get sneak attack. Thank you, Water Elemental. 1d20 plus, 4 for his dagger? Yeah, plus 4. That's a 12. If the rat is flat-footed, it's gonna lose 3 of its AC. Okay, excellent. So that's definitely gonna hit then. Flash roll, 1d3 minus 1 plus 1d6. Oof, 3 points of damage, but he doesn't need any more than that to stab out at the rat as it begins to die. Great. I'm gonna go ahead. You know what? I might as well make that. You know, I don't know how many more combats we're gonna get into today, or how much more of the mythic power he'll need. So we're gonna use his second mythic power to make a surprise attack against the rat to his right, and that's gonna hit because it's flat-footed. So we're sneaking, and that's 4 damage. Huzzah! 4 damage. The rat begins to die. And as the battle scene dies down, the water elemental swims over in the dirty bilge water, kind of swims around Sandara's feet before disappearing, like sinking back beneath the dirty bilge water to whence it came. Hazlen leans down to his ankle. Oh, crikey, that hurts. Oh, and he kind of rolls up his pant leg to see this massive bite wound that's already starting to like turn a little green around the sides. Wee, that hurts right. Oh, that's a right hurtful one. You need assistance? No, that's not what Sandara would say. She would never be like, do you need assistance? She's not that kind of cleric. Oh, shush up. No, just be glad that it didn't do any more damage than that. Hold on, let me look at it. And I think she is going to kind of bend down, use up one of her spells. She is a neutral cleric, but I'm assuming her spontaneous casting for cure spells, it would be weird if it wasn't. Hold on, I think we need to look back at her character sheet. She prepares inflict light wounds, right? So if she's preparing inflict light wounds, she's channeling positive energy. Hush up, let me look at it. And she's going to go ahead and use one of her spells to cast Cure Light Wounds. So she's level 3, so she's doing +3 to that. Very 5 points of damage back to Hazlen. Very nice. Oh my god, there's this rat here. Oh, how did I just miss that? Fuck me. Hazlen went. Sandara went. Let's see if Spear can't wrap it up real quick. 11. Use advantage. That's gonna hit. D8 +7. Okay, yeah, he kills it. My bad, excuse me, y'all. So Spear ended up using 3 of his mythic powers for the day. They get 7 each. So, like I said, in these day-to-day working conditions on board, she is leaving it to Spear while she fixes the complaining halfling. I think Sandara, look as she's healing Hazlen, who's just going, just shaking her head. And she looks up and she sees Spear as he stabs the last rat, pulls it up, looks at it. He turns around and she can see this. In the shadows of the bilge, there's an almost monstrous-like quality to the way he looks at the rat, almost as if hungry. In fact, maybe even Spear kind of feels this urge to bite into it. The battle-minded, the kind of battle pulse running through his veins, and the curse, the deep one curse, inflicted upon him by Besmara, or wherever it came from, turning him into this sort of monstrous creature. And I like that as well. Besmara is a goddess of monsters, of sea monsters. Was doing some reading on her, and unlike Lamashtu, the mother of monsters, Besmara is more of a bully or tyrant, the way she tells monsters what to do. Hazlen looks up. Oh, Sandara, thank you, thank you. Oh, that feels right better, right better. And he kind of shakes his leg. Where did these rats come from? Fear says. He begins to look around. I'm going to go ahead and have him make a perception check. That's a +5 perception. 14. Yeah, so he sees the barley, these piles of barley over here in the corner, pokes it with his spear, and the smell of kind of like wilted, dry barley comes up. Not at all. They're quite dodgy. And he looks back. Must be not good purchase back in Port Peril. Kind of like shakes his head. Well, I think that's it for the three of them. They climb up out of here. Hawk, kind of seagulling, walking, as he lands back on what's his face, Hazlen's shoulder. The four of them climb up out of the bill. These rats aren't. These pirates aren't here. They're all up above. Where did my? They are on board up top, doing their job. As the three of them head back up top, I can see they go straight over to Master Scourge, Mr. Plug. Mr. Plug, this bald-headed man with a kind of long rat tail on the back of his head and a purple coat. The camera focuses on Plug's cutlass at his side, this almost magical seeming sword, slightly rusted with a hilt formed out of the skull. You can see that there's almost like water dripping from the blade, although it appears to be dry. And Sphere kind of looks at it for a moment before looking back up at Mr. Plug, who says, "Well, did you fix the problem? I told you not to come out until whatever is down there is dead." "Yes, Mr. Plug. We killed the rats. Several rats seem to have stolen away from the barley that was being stored down there." Well, I didn't realize we had a detective on. And several of the pirates begin to laugh at Mr. Plug's joke. Spear, "Well, we did as you asked. Is there anything else, Mr. Plug?" And he sort of stands at attention. Hazlen kind of like rolls his eyes, and Sandara doesn't seem to be quite as dutiful as Spear, but Spear has made it a living of working on these boats, so he knows how to take orders, to follow commands when he needs to. No, why don't the three of you relax for the rest of the day? And I think they do that. Relax for the rest of the day. As night falls, the evening entertainment begins. Let's go ahead and look at ship action. None of them are particularly fatigued. Last night, Hazlen went to bed early and slept through the night because he had to spend the day working in the bilge. He was actually quite familiar with that area that we just left. I think... Oh, it's always so hard. You know, neither of them are particularly... Well, Spear is not a particularly thievy kind of character. Hazlen might definitely be thinking about stealing something. But the pair of them have been so rebuffed by Grok that going into her... Well, okay, let's take it back a moment. I think this is a great chance for us to use the motif story engine. We're going to roll 3d6 and see exactly what they're interested in at the moment. We could call it yes or no questions. So let's ask about Hazlen. Is he interested in sneaking around the ship tonight, potentially stealing things? All right, a 5 for our first d6 means yes. The positive answer, big, a lot. A 2 for the second one actually means flawed, minor, or modest. So it's not necessarily that Hazlen has an urge to steal. He's not a kleptomaniac. But I think given, what just happened and what's been going on, I think he got this curiosity. And a 6 means that the answer is it could be that the answer is the best possible result. It could be that things are hella weird, or it could be that it's dangerous. I think it is going to be dangerous to go sneaking around tonight. I do know for a fact that there are traps on board. But he's got a set of thieves' tools on him. He did manage to keep those hidden on his person. So yeah, plus he's had to take it easy the last few days. Is definitely interested in getting a chance to check out what's going on around. Spear, on the other hand, like I said, is not interested in thieving, but he is kind of interested in getting to know the crew a little bit. Despite being a stoic, silent type, Spear does have a desire to be liked. There is something in him that wants people to like him, and I think that's a very human, mortal type of feeling. So let's see if he's going to seek out someone. He did make a friend yesterday, and what was her ship's crew? Her name was Barefoot Sam's Toppin. So as they're on board the ship, he's kind of looking around, and he can see Sam's up in the rigging, looking down at him, and she waves cheerfully, "Hey!" But as night falls, they have a fine meal. The chef, Cook Ambrose Fish Guts Croup, was sober enough without his chef's mate to help him today to get a meal going. And the three of them, or all of them, the three of them as well, have their ration of rum as they eat dinner with the crew. I think the question is, does Spear want to gamble? Or is he potentially seeking someone specific out? And if he is seeking someone specific, how weird is the choice of person that he's seeking out? Someone, a regular member of the crew, or maybe one of the ship's officers, or even the captain himself. I like that. By the way, this is the motif story engine. That, no? This the one? Nope. I've got some sort of command set up here to link out to the where you can get the motif story engine. You can go ahead and get that on Drive-Thru RPG. It's quite handy for little parts like this to just kind of emulate things as they're going, to ask questions. Cloudbot solo game, that's the, got it, that is. He knows exactly who, wow, that's a good point. He knows exactly who has his armor. And that is our friend Cutthroat Grok, quartermaster here aboard the ship. He was able to get his spears back from her yesterday. But his armor was masterwork. And it was not only masterwork, it was an agile breastplate armor. So literally, I think that armor was so expensive that it is impossible for him to get it back from her at this point. Just doing the math on diplomacy and stuff like that. He, like I said, he was able to get back his spears, and I think he picked up some rope earlier while he was working, but unfortunately, there's not much else that he will be able to get back from her. He had a wand of Cure Light Wounds, he had that masterwork armor, and he had a shield, which would be handy to have. But yeah, like I said, everything else is just not, fortunately, in his ability to re-procure. Rat killing. There is the, spoiler alert, there is the chance at the end of their time here on the Wormwood to get back some of their good shit from her. But unfortunately that is, like 15 days away from today. So we're going to go ahead and roll 3d6 for Spear to see how we want to approach this. Okay. 3, he's not really super interested in gambling. He could gamble if he wanted to. That's a 5. He's very strongly, not interested. Kind of interested in gambling. I think he's definitely more interested in getting to know people and making friends. And we've got a 2. So he's not looking to talk to a ship's officer at this point. But I think he is kind of interested in talking to someone who maybe, someone who's kind of given him a little bit more gruff than some of the other people. We've got here the ship's crew. So all these people down here in red are people that are maybe minions of... No, I want red. Yeah. They might be minions of... Oh, and I want that in white, actually. The font. They might be people who are kind of sucking up to Mr. Plug. They might be people who are evil. We've got several evil people. Or they might just not give a shit. He's not interested in talking to any of those people. That would be weird. So as the night begins to wind down, he takes a look around and he can see Sam's maybe doing some gambling. She looks up, kind of smiles, and maybe nods her head a little bit and shrugs. And he looks around and he sees a gonna be one of these two women. This older half-elf woman who shaves her gray hair into stripes, or this very tall, dark-skinned Mwangi woman, who both look unfriendly, and I think both of them are maybe sitting in corners by themselves, not really talking to anyone else. Let's go ahead and roll 1d2. On a 1, he goes to Badger. On a 2, he goes to Shivika. Or a 2. So he goes to Shivika. He is sitting in the corner, I think maybe whittling some wood. Maybe like it's a you can, as he walks up, you can see that it's a bird. Hello. Seem to be talented at whittling. She looks up at him. I'll use this one, even though this is a female, but, well, oh yeah, I'll stick with this. The dark-skinned woman kind of like, well, this one? Then he's got a beard. Yeah, I think this is more appropriate. Just the skin color is closer. She looks up at him, like cocks half an eyebrow. What do you want? I just wanted to say hello, see how you are doing. As he's looking closer, GG, wow. You can see that like she's got like a pile of like wooden shivs kind of like attached to her belt, just to have these spiked slivers on hand. I'm new on board and right, I know you're new on board. I've seen you. You and the gnome got a bright lashing yesterday. It was quite hilarious. Well, if you find amusement in it, I can't say I'm not happy to oblige. Yeah. What do you want? We're gonna go ahead and roll a diplomacy check for Spear. She's unfriendly. So he needs to roll at least a 20, plus whatever her charisma is. Let's go ahead and check out her. The Wormwood Pirates, I've got a kind of random. Okay, -1. So that's helpful. He needs to roll a 19 on this diplomacy check. He's not good at diplomacy. He's much better at intimidating. No, he doesn't have any social skill. He's just as equal as bluff, diplomacy, or intimidate. As a fighter, he has proficiency in intimidate, but I don't think I have a skill rank in there yet. We're going to go ahead and use one of his mythic powers, so at least get a plus 1d6 surge on that. +2 plus 1d6. Oh, that's a 6. So as he opens his mouth, she says, "Leave me, get out of here." And that's it. That was our ship's action for him today. Attempt to influence a single NPC. So kind of dejected and saddened by the fact that she didn't respond to his friendly overtures. Spear heads to the back of the lower deck, and maybe sits with Sandara, who is talking to Rosie Cuswell. Where's Rosie? No. A small halfling woman who kind of looks pissed. Spear doesn't say anything, but merely listens in. What is going on? I think Sandara's like, sorry. Rosie, you seem to be even in a worse mood than normal. Yeah, well, you be in a bad mood too. Let me double check what's going on here. Spear kind of looks over with his eyes, just a little like side eye in this direction. See exactly what. Rosie Cuswell. I'm going to give him a sense motive check to see how much he knows about Rosie at this point. So let's hop over. What's his sense motive? +0. We'll go ahead and spend another mythic power, mythic surge, because why the hell not? +1d6. There we go, 20. So he's heard a little bit about Rosie and seen the way that she interacts with other people on board. He's not necessarily surprised that Sandara has managed to form some sort of connection with her, but he is surprised that Rosie's allowing anyone to form a connection with her because of the way that she acts towards people, other people on board the ship. Anyone who gets close to her, she threatens to chop off their hands, and got quite a mouth on her as well. She cusses very much like a sailor. Yeah, well, you'd be fucking pissed too. I've been trying to get that oafish orc quartermaster, Rock Cutthroat or whatever her fucking name is, and to give me back my fiddle, but she won't fucking do it. God, she's such a butt. I don't want to go too hard on some of my curse words because, life. And she takes her rum and swigs it down. You got any extra rum in there? And Sandara holds her cup close to her. Rosie, I'm fond of you, I promise, but you're not getting any of my rum. You could have some of mine. Rosie kind of looks over. All right, I'll take it. And she kind of shrugs. I'm gonna go ahead and give Spear a second chance to influence her. Well, should I? It's kind of against the rules. We only get the one action. But you know what? There are rules in here for taking a second action at night. Each PC can normally take 2 ship actions each day. They can also attempt to take up to 2 additional ship actions during the middle watch in the dead of the night. But to do so, the PC must make a successful constitution check or be fatigued for the next day. I feel you, Gigi Wow. But I think if he stays up any later, he will have to take up to 2 additional ship actions, which is good. Maybe he can, hang out with people. Yeah, so it's just a DC 10 con check, so he stays up, kind of talking with Sandara and Rosie. We're going to go ahead and give him +2, because it says here that if you give Rosie some food and stuff, she'll like you even more. And we're going to go ahead and use another mythic power surge. That's 6 for the day. 15. Okay. Pretty good. Rosie starts off at indifferent. So an indifferent diplomacy check requires you to do 15 plus their charisma modifier. Her charisma modifier is 0. Okay. She moves up to friendly. As he here, have some of my rum. He looks at him, a little suspicious, takes a sip. You really didn't touch this, did you? What are you, some sort of pussy? I don't know, maybe that's not the right word. What are you, some sort of worrywart weakling? Well, no, it's just, you wanted it, I have it. Well, that's kind of nice of you, buddy. You don't look like such a fucking prick after all. Right. I've been able to get some of my stuff back from Grok. Perhaps tomorrow I could speak with her and maybe help you get your fiddle back. He looks at him. Well, that'd be pretty fucking nice of you, actually. Okay, yeah. If you can go, maybe tomorrow night we go and talk to her, or maybe cut off during the day when the shop's open to talk with her. That would be nice. And Spear starts to smile before Rosie glares at him, and he quickly, oh, right. Totally GG wow. Yeah, I'd rather stay hydrated and not have, my people have to stay hydrated. Oh, that reminds me. Spear kind of nods and maybe casts some water over himself before he goes to bed. Maybe climbs down to the bilge and just casts water over himself. What would that look like? Create water. It has verbal and somatic components, so he's probably just like, and water like splashes down over his skin. The kind of cracks that start to appear after 24 hours, reforming and filling themselves. I was watching Dimension 20's Crown of Candy campaign. And in it, they have a ship-to-ship combat. And the GM was explaining that if you go off-board, flash dance moment, absolutely. Spear has a private flash dance moment down in the dark bilge by himself, almost like worshiping Besmara through this, like, what's it like? It's almost like it's not a bath, but it does feel kind of luxurious and secret. Thank you, yeah. It's getting nice and thick. Thanks, Snail God. So anyway, I was watching the Dimension 20 A Crown of Candy campaign, and they have a ship-to-ship combat, and the DM, Brennan, was explaining that if you're on a ship moving and you hit the ocean, the current just takes you out into open sea. So I think it's not totally realistic for Spear to be climbing off over the side of the ship to, drench himself, to duck down into the water. I think that's gonna hurt him, essentially. I mean, he's holding on to the rope, I get it, but we did create water specifically so that he could, completely cover himself with the hydrating life's liquid, because as an Azurketi, he starts to die after 24 hours of not being in water. But yeah, Rosie is now a friendly person. Rosie friendly to Spear. Now, I've been making sure that Hazlen and Spear, whatever friends they make, are their friends, and that they don't apply to the party, the group as a whole. Because Hazlen and Spear, I don't know how much they like each other at this. They've known each other for 4 days. Hazlen, has been saved by Spear when those bullies came for them yesterday morning, but there's something about Spear's attitude. I think they're like oil and water a little bit, and that they're not going to mesh well. I also feel my goal is for them to kind of rise up as rivals in the free captain world, and this being the beginning of their careers. So let's head back to ship's actions. Ship action. And Hazlen, well, firstly, sorry. Daytime, nighttime. Where is it? I just saw it. We need Spear to make a Constitution DC 10 check or be fatigued in the morning. There we go. Yeah, he only took one extra action. Like up to 2. So it would be DC 10 and then DC 14 or be fatigued for the next day. Okay, Spear. This isn't a fortitude check, this is a constitution check, which is a +2 for him. Still not a great check, but it is something. Okay, 20. He is more than easy. He stays up a little bit late, talking with Rosie and Sandara about, where they're from and what they're doing. Rosie explained, I think the 3 of them as they're speaking, and in hushed whispers as the rest of the crew goes to sleep down here in the lower deck, begin talking about what assholes Mr. Plug and Master Scourge are, and Rosie explaining that, well, I threaten everyone equally, okay? Like, you touch my hand axe, you're gonna get cut. You try and grab my fiddle, I'm gonna come for you. So I've threatened Grok multiple times, and she just laughs it off. But Mr. Plug and Master Scourge, those fucking assholes. I just threatened to cut off their hands, and they both threatened to lash me to the mast and whip me senseless. No, fuck those assholes. Fuck those pieces of shit. Captain Harrigan, I don't know, he seems like an asshole, but he seems like a right asshole, you know what I mean? Mr. Plug and Master Scourge, they seem like wrong assholes. Does that make sense? Sandara just kind of and Spear nods, trying to just be a supportive friend at this point. Anyway, I'm going to bed. Fuck you guys. Have a good night. And 3 of them go to bed. We do a little rewind as we head to Hazlen on board the ship. Everyone's down here in the hold. Bips here is no longer unconscious. He was able to come back up the next day. But he got whipped pretty hard and punched out yesterday. So, I think Hazlen, during the night, maybe sneaks up to the mid-deck, where maybe he goes over to the... I don't know. What does Hazlen find? Where does he go? Does he go up? I think he'd be more interested in the upper decks. But I'm not exactly sure if he's brave enough to get up there. What did we roll for his... We rolled for his 3d6, we rolled a 5, a 2, and a 6. So let's check out the motif character engine one more time. The motif story engine. Yeah, a 6 means he's going to... It does depend on if one of his friends... The only friend he has so far is the cook, Chef Ambrose. So he could go and hang out with Chef Ambrose and Cutthroat Grok. Maybe even, if they're drunk enough, he could sneak into the quartermaster store. But I'm also curious... we rolled a 6 on the third die. So I wonder if that means it's more interested in exploring the upper decks and seeing what the officers are doing. What do we get? A 5 and a 2. No, with a 2, he's just a modest. He's not terribly interested in pissing off any of the ship's officers. So, yeah, he's definitely going to head over here and see what Ambrose and Cutthroat Grok are up to. As he comes up here, he passes by the middle deck where this part of the hold, down on this section, he can see a hammock that's set up with maybe like a chest or 2 of things. and he looks up and he can see a very, let's say, muscular man who is kind of leaning back, his hands behind his head, kicked up on the hammock, and he looks over. This man has like a light brown skin tone, a shaved head, and he can see this man taking tar, and he's got a pile of feathers next to him, and he's slowly like, oh yeah, as he glues hot tar to his shoulders, and like uses the tar to glue these feathers onto it. Oh yeah, all right. Oh, that feels good. Is everything? I keep going to the wrong one. What are you looking at, little one? Nothing. I'm just a little curious about what it is you're doing there. They don't call me the owlbear for nothing. Gotta have the look just right. The owlbear? But so you're gluing feathers to yourself? Yeah. It feels really good too. You want to try? No. Oh, that's quite all right. You can do what you want there. But no judgment here. To each their own is what I always say. Yeah. You better keep your business to yourself, little man. Right. So if you don't mind, I'm just gonna go pop into the kitchen, see if the chef needs anything before the end of the day. And the owlbear just, you can hear these like kind of grunts and groans as it continues gluing those feathers onto. Hazlen is making his way to the kitchen when he hears chatting over here. And I think hey Midnight, welcome. Caught us in at the evening of our 4th day at sea. Our gnomish rogue sorcerer, or I should just call them by their mythic tiers, our gnomish trickster, is setting about. He's got the need to steal, or at least look around. So as he comes over here, he can hear Brock laughing on the other side of this door. Oh. There she is. Ambrose, you tell the funniest stories. Oh, yeah. It was quite nice today having the little one out of the kitchen, but I gotta say, he's been a right help. Allowed me to drink more than my weight lately since he's been on. Nope. Where is she? There she is. Now tell me the one again about how you and your assistant at that fancy restaurant in Port Peril got away with the and Hazlen, I'm gonna give him, let's give him a perception check to see how busy they are, or maybe no, he's gonna forego the perception check, come over here and open the door. At that point, he moves into the kitchen, which is still quite warm. All of the fires have been brought kind of low, but they never really go out on a ship's galley, especially with a crew of this size. So at this point, he's going to need a stealth check. Don't forget, he's got Hawk on his shoulder, kind of sitting and helping him keep guard, to keep watch. That familiar giving him perception bonus. We're going to go ahead and make a stealth check for Hazlen. He gets plus 11 to his stealth. Damn, as a small creature, that's a plus 4 bonus. So that's really good. I also have 5 more uses of my mythic power surges. So I'm going to go ahead and add mythic power surge. Plus 11 plus 1d6. So 28. There is no way that the other two can hear him doing anything over here. He begins to tiptoe through the kitchen as he hears their drunken laughter coming from the other side of this door down here. He goes to the quartermaster's door. Okay. Let's double check the rules on this. The quartermaster's store, there is a chance, actually, that Brock left it unlocked. An oversight that occurs 75% of the time. Jesus, Grok. How has she been quartermaster for this long? Like, that's just reckless. It's not just irresponsible. And Hazlen says this to himself. As the thing, he goes to like pick the lock, and he looks through, wait, what? And he just pushes open the door. He looks back over behind his shoulder and hears them laughing. Rock, this is just reckless. I mean, I wouldn't even call it irresponsible. I would call it stupid. And the two of them move in. Maybe Hawk kind of like nudges at him like, don't worry, just move in. The quartermaster's store contains 2 tons of rum and 6 other containers. This rum is what they normally dig into at the end of each night. Brock knows the value of the majority of the items in the store, but she is unaware of the value of those items marked with asterisks or thinks they're mundane. He's going to start off by looking for his gear. He had a wand of magic missile. So we're going to put that in... Where would it wands? Wands would be... Here we go, in this metal trunk with the scrolls and all these other magical items. This metal trunk has a poisoned dart trap on it. Oh shit. Hey, Felt Badly, thanks for the follow. Good to see you here. Good old Hazlen here is in the middle of sneaking into the quartermaster's store and trying to steal back some of his stuff. But if he gets past this metal trunk, and the lock on it has a disable device DC 30, holy shit. I don't even know if he'll get past it, but first, he sees the metal trunk. Well, let's go ahead and make a perception check. What in here? He's going to look at these lockers, these chests, but that metal trunk, he would know right off the bat. That's probably where the good stuff is. And that would be, so yeah, I'm trying not to metagame too hard here, but yeah, so let's go ahead and make a perception check as he goes to look at this poison dot trap. Let me just double check here. Poison dot trap. What is the perception check for that? Looking shit up. You can always look at... I often use Archives of Nethys. I also use d20pfsrd.com. All right, this poison dot trap has a perception check of DC 20. So we're going to go ahead and make a perception check. I think he's quite smart enough. Too hard here. I'm trying. It's like the 3rd week and the accents come and go, but I've found that these solo streams are a perfect chance to practice all of my various voices. So, all right. Hazlen has got a perception of +8, especially with his animal accomplice helping him, keeping watch. He's got... We used a mythic power, so he's got a few more mythic power surges. He's got 4 more left. I'm just going to use it because I want to. 1d20 plus 8 plus 1d6. 16. Unfortunately, he does not see the trap as he goes to pick the lock. The The trap won't go off until after he opens it. But is there even a chance for him to pick the lock? To disable the voice. Oh shit. Are we even trained in disable device? We are. Cool. Is disable device. Let's make sure it's +5 currently, but he pulls out his thieves tools, equips them, and so disable device jumps up to 8. Oof. This is gonna be hard. 1d20 plus 8 plus 1d6. I don't even know. DC 30 for this lock? 14. Right. So he goes to pick the lock, and as he starts picking it, he just... Oh, crikey. This lock, Hawk, this lock is awful. It just won't budge. And Hawk kind of like shrugs silently as he's trying not to alert the two officers in their cabin. Maybe we just leave it alone, huh? Unfortunately, luckily that's not going to trigger the poison dart trap. Hold on, I'm wondering if I stay much longer, am I threatened? Am I potentially going to have to make fatigue checks? Because he's staying up kind of late at this. Yeah. So the ship's actions here. I'm kind of a stickler for rules. I'm trying not to be as much, but. The steal action means to attempt to open a locked door or a locker. And they must make a check to avoid being discovered. See below. I think we did that already. DC 15. Yeah, he overcame that very easily. Yeah, so he's going to have to try and hit another locker at this point. Right, he does. That's right, JG Wow. He knows. He looks back. No wonder she doesn't lock the door. These locks are tight as fuck. So he's gonna go and look at a. We're here, so he's gonna stay up late to try and get some good shit. So he may end up being fatigued in the morning, which would be kind of shitty. We'll go to, I think, one of the wooden chests. So I'm going to roll 1d2. On a 1, he goes to wooden chest number 3. On a 2, he goes to wooden chest number 4. All right, so he's going to number 4. He's going to look it over. This one also has a trap. They all have traps on it. This one has an arrow trap. Arrow trap. All right, Hawk, seeing anything on this? Any kind of trap? That's a DC 20 perception check. He's still got 3 more uses of the mythic power surge, so we're going to go ahead and continue to use that. 1d20 plus 8 plus 1d6. Ooh, natural 20 for a 34. So he sees on the hinges that there seems to be like some strings that look like they're inside the chest attached to the lock and the thing. Oh, shit. Oh, she's got this trapped. He looks kind of at the other ones. You think she's got all of them trapped? I mean, on a ship full of pirates, probably not the worst idea. So first off, before we even try and pick this lock, he needs to disable the trap device. We're gonna blow through these mythic power surges as he tries to disable it. Plus 8 plus 1d6. He needs to get a 20 on this. Ooh, natural 20 again! What the fuck? Alright, so there's the trap disarmed. Okay, I'm feeling good. We're on a roll, Hawk. Come on, let's do this. And there's like a little gnomish magic that flicks through his fingers as he goes to pick the lock. Natural 20 for a third time. Y'all, what the fuck? Strike me down right now. Holy shit. That is impossible. How does that even happen? Okay, what's in this chest? Ba-na-na-na. Stable device DC 20. Yeah, 25. He needed that 30. 30 something was it? 32. Yeah, he needed that. All right, so he sees the arrow trap set up quite wide. Oh no, GG wow. It is all over the place. Roll 20, it will fuck me just as hard as it fucks anyone else. At the beginning of my Curse of the Crimson Throne campaign that I started 2 years ago, I literally crit on one of my own creatures because that's how, in the first boss fight. It was ridiculous. All right, so he sees a masterwork light crossbow, 3 cutlasses, 31 daggers, 3 masterwork daggers, 43 masterwork darts, 4 saps, a masterwork sap, 120 arrows, 20 masterwork arrows, 6+1 arrows. Excuse me. So he can see these arrows that maybe like are glowing with like a little bit of light in the darkness. Ooh, I kind of want those. Unfortunately, they're arrows, so he would need a bow, a short bow, to use them with. He doesn't have that. There's the crossbow, and there's bolts, but no magical bolts. Plus the arrows, would he be wise enough to think that she would keep track of that? But also how is she the one? How would she know that he's the one who stole them? We're going to get the crossbow. He's going to pull the Masterwork Light crossbow out and swipe a handful of crossbow bolts. Nice. Okay, Hazlen. All right. Hazlen steals Masterwork Light crossbow. We're not going to worry about the fact that he's a small creature. We're just going to pretend that this is a small light crossbow in here. And we'll call it 40 bolts. It's a lot, I know, but she's also a drunk. I think he's also going to steal a Masterwork dagger. Actually, he's going to steal 2 Masterwork daggers. And puts the 2 daggers he has on him in their place. In their place. He holds up the Masterwork sap, this kind of leather pouch thingy, and definitely considers it. Would be kind of nice. After all, why not me? But goes ahead and puts it back. He's a little worried about her noticing that too much is gone. I think that's it. I don't want to push my luck too much. You know what I mean? I will take 3 of the Masterwork darts, though. Darts are nice. +1 to attack. Not so bad. And then he locks it up. Now, we could attempt to open up another chest. We could. That would count as a second action down here. So he's staying up even later into the night. Means that he would have to make a DC 14 Constitution check or be fatigued in the morning. If he's fatigued in the morning, that makes him less likely to perform his ship duties well and more likely to be lashed by Master Scourge or Mr. Plug. So, unfortunately, I'm not willing to risk that. He kind of like stifles back a yawn. All right, we've got to set this up. He can hear the 2 of them begin to like quiet down. And he locks everything back up except for the door and proceeds to sneak back out. You're right, Gigi Wow. I got 3 natural 20s in a row. I'm not feeling like I want to be pushing my luck with that, to be perfectly honest. And he heads back down, sneaks into his hammock, sees that for some reason Fear and Sandara have switched hammocks. Don't know why. Probably just because I'm throwing them in random places. I just realized you can't. And I think settles in for the night. Yeah. I also don't think he's going to share his good fortune with Fear. You know, they're comrades, but they're not friends by any means. They're allies because they're both the newest people on board. But no, definitely not. And the more people who know about his midnight excursion, the less likely he's going to be able to pull it off in the future. But we do have a DC 10 con check to make for him. Okay, 20, easy peasy. He wakes up in the morning, right as rain, teary-eyed and chippa. Now, after last week, I decided to go ahead and pre-roll all of my ship's duties. Hazlen and Spear will have different duties as each day goes on. So we come into day 5. The morning bell rings, bing, 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 and all the crew heads up on board to begin their work. Spear has some tough work today, mainsail duties. He's going to need to make, luckily it's only a DC 10 profession sailor check. Ooh, thanks Yozomiria for the bits. Super appreciate the bits, any kind of bits that you want to throw at my face. Imagine you're just taking handfuls of pennies and throwing them at my face. I'm sure that that's probably enjoyable in some way, shape, or form. Feel free to go for it. Much appreciated. So, right, Spear has mainsail duties. He's got tough work raising and lowering the mainsail today. Shouldn't be too hard for him to do it well. He is a professional sailor, but there is a chance that he will be fatigued at the end of the shift. In addition to that, he is taking the action of going with Rosie to talk to Quartermaster Brock. No worries, Yozo. Yeah, I always imagine it. I'm just throwing pennies at my favorite performers, and I hope they enjoy it. I always do. So, daytime ship actions. One could work diligently, gain a +4 bonus on any one check for a job's daily task. But instead, he's going to visit the shop, which means he's taking a -2 penalty on all checks for a job's daily task to go with Rosie to the quartermaster. Let's go ahead and make that check real quick. Spears profession sailor check. Spear profession sailor. He gets a +5 on this at a -2. That's not good. He needs a 10 to do it well. 17. Perfect. He does it well. Unfortunately, he's also going to have to make that constitution check, which means he's getting a -2 to this. So he's getting no bonus. Great. He hasn't worked on the sails at all since he's been on board, but he's, like I said, the consummate professional and knows exactly how to do it. Before we... Let's see. Well, Hazlen, on the other hand, is back to turtle hunting. 2 days ago, what was it, day 2, he was doing some turtle hunting and failed big time. So he needs to work diligently this time. On top of that, when Hazlen goes into the galley today, he sees that Croup is wasted. Hey, well, it's the little gnomish one. You come here to do some great cooking, or what's up? Ambrose, excuse me, Chef Croup, you know, you're the cook here. I'm just supposed to be helping you? Right. Well, we're gonna try and make turtle soup again today. Turtle soup? Chef Croup, really, isn't there something else we can do? No. The captain has requested the turtle soup once more, and, well, since we couldn't get it for him the other day, we're just gonna have to try again. All right, but, you're not gonna be able to help me cook it, are you? Huh? Yeah, of course I will. Hazlen just shakes his head. No, I don't think ye are. All right, Hawk. He looks at the seagull on his pauldron. We're going to have to work extra hard today, all right? We're going to have to work diligently so we can get that +4 on this survival check. Luckily, as a seagull familiar, Hawk is actually giving Hazlen a bonus to his survival, which is really good because normally he has no bonus. So he sets up some nets outside of through one of the portholes of the ship once more. And we can see Hawk kind of like diving and squawking outside the ship, trying to herd turtles into the net. So we're going to go ahead and roll with a +4 on this one. And our mythic powers have reset for the day. So let me just open up. There we go. Okay, so he's actually gonna use a mythic power surge on this as well, because, like I said, the last time he couldn't catch any turtles, and so in addition to having to like be lashed that day for being late to morning duties to work, he had to spend the next day in the bilge. He's not eager at all to fail on this task again. 22, all right. He does quite excellent. He comes in with a big haul of turtles. And he looks over in the corner and sees that Chef Croup is fucking passed out in the corner. Oh, right, Croup. God, this isn't the life for you. Come on. Hazlen is quite pissed at this, but on the other hand, he's kind of fond of Croup. They've had some good stories, and Croup is kind of fond of him. So he's not going to worry too much about it. So that means because Croup is drunk, there's a 50% chance that the chef is too drunk to do anything today, that on top of having to catch the food, Hazlen also has to cook it for the crew. He does not have profession cook, so this is going to be a simple intelligence check, which is a +2 for Hazlen. I'm going to go ahead and use a second mythic power surge because, like I said, he is not eager to get in trouble with the captain. It's just the first week, so if he fucks up, there might be some problems. I think right here it says, on a failed check for cooking, the angry crew soundly berate the cook's mate and administer several rope bashes to Croup and his lazy mate. So, yeah, he's not eager to be getting bashed by a rope today. Or ever, to be perfectly honest. +2 plus 1d6, which is a DC 10. 18! Well done. So he's in the middle of cooking all this when two people enter the galley, headed to the quartermaster's office shortly after noon. Spear being one of them, and Rosie Cuswell, the halfling who was assigned jobs with them on that first day. Hazlen looks up. Oh, well, what's up with you? You need anything? Oh, hi, Hazlen. Well, we're just coming to visit the quartermaster. Rosie here. Rosie looks up at him. Yeah, I can speak for myself, dude. God. Fucking patronizing asshole over here. She smiles and winks. She looks over. Oh right, you're the gnome with the who likes to tell those tall tales, huh? I'm Rosie, and she sticks out what's the word? Calloused hand to shake Hazlen's quite soft hand. As she looks at it, well, you've got a really fucking soft hand, huh? Hey, I work really hard to keep my hands soft. You gotta moisturize regularly, you know. Ah! Yeah, you're just as funny as you were that first night. Right, I'm kind of busy. I've got to work on this. And Hazlen quickly, focuses back on the work, sprinkling little gnomish magic mythical energy into every dish and pot. Spear and Rosie enter into Quartermaster's office. Here we go. Let's set everyone up. Passed out in the corner, standing in the Quartermaster's office. We've got Spear, Hazlen, and Hawk are over here working diligently. And Rosie is right here. I'm going to zoom in so that we can all see. They open the door and you can see Grok. Huh? What do you want? Oh, well, Quartermaster Grok, I come here with Miss Caswell. Right, I can speak for myself like I said. Yo, Grok, I'm here for my fiddle, okay? Like I said, little one. Hey, don't call me little one, you big green... Bia? She just kind of growls and reaches for an axe on one of the barrels here. No, please. We are not here to fight. It's just Miss Caswell, Rosie, her fiddle. Please, Quartermaster Grok, it would be most beneficial if we were able to get it back for her. Yeah, like I said, I want my fucking fiddle back. Hazlen kind of looks over. Whoa, what's going on over there? So if you can kindly give me my fiddle back, I'd be most appreciative of it. And you, big man, what's this business to you? Oh, well, Spear kind of straightens up. It's just, you were so kind in giving me back some of my spears that I thought, well, maybe you would be willing to help Rosie. The fiddle, well, it's no use to anyone if it's not being played, right? So with that, we're going to go ahead and make a diplomacy check. I say that, then that what we're doing? It is, I think Spear is definitely interested in doing this diplomatically. Rosie, on the other hand, is probably more interested in intimidating. I'm looking at her character sheet, and I don't see any skills. We've got Intimidate here. I feel like Grok is not likely to be intimidated well. God, look how much gear she has. It's kind of fucked up that we have all of our gear taken from us, and that these newbies who were only on board a few days before us happen to have all of this extra stuff too. Jeez. God damn. I mean, our stuff was technically more expensive. We had some good magic stuff in there. Anyway, right, she's going to be intimidating. I think I'm going to use Intimidate to try and aid Spear's diplomacy check. So, double checking the aid action. Aid. Aid another. If you know in chat how the aid another skill works, let me know. Here we go. I found it. If you got a 10 or higher, you can give them a +2 on their check. Okay, so Rosie's going to go ahead and roll Intimidate to aid. Thank you, Gigi Wow. You're on top of it as always. Intimidate. That's a 6. So yeah, her fucking loudmouth cussing self is of no help whatsoever here. Rock is a little hard to persuade as far if I remember the rules correctly. Let's double check. Getting her stuff back. Covering gear. Rock is used to dealing with impressed sailors' requests. You can do a bluff check to do stuff. He's already tried to bluff her. Well, let's start with the diplomacy check. She's indifferent, so that's going to be kind of like I think a minus or a 20 DC on this. That's going to be really hard, actually. But as far as I know, her charisma is not that great, so maybe it's down to a 19. Yeah, we're going to need a 19 diplomacy on this. If that fails, we'll go ahead and try a bluff check. And Spear can threaten to bring down Besmara's wrath on her if she doesn't help. He's also going to use a Mythic Surge ability on this. See what happens. 21! Hey! All right! I think Grok... Oop. Hey, Retro Ted, thank you for the host. Super appreciate it. Very glad to have you here during our solo Pathfinder stream. Ahoy, matey. Welcome aboard. God, so cringe. I think you were right. What good is fiddle if it's not being played? And she reaches into, it kind of goes to one of the chests, opens it up with like these keys on her belt, pops it out and hands the fiddle to Rosie, who just like, wide-eyed, holds the fiddle, looks up at Spear and goes, "Gee, thanks. Whoa, what the fuck?" It's sometimes better to use honeyed words, although Besmara's teachings say it's better to punch than to ask. However, in this case, and he kind of like looks over at Grok, who she's still got her like one hand on this huge axe, and she's grinning with these like spiky teeth. In this case, I think better to make friends with those who hold all the weapons. No? Well, I think you might be fucking right, Spear. You're not such a bad prick after all. In fact, I think you're a good prick. And she gives a good, a hearty wink to that. Spear, like, oh, well, better get back to work, hmm? And Grok nods. All right, see you later, have fun. My accents are getting messed up now. But I think also at this point, that's going to bring Grok's attitude up to friendly. She's had a few interactions with him, and he's been perfectly polite. And I think especially that speech afterwards of being like, we could fight, but like, why fight the person who has all the weapons? In fact, let's be friends with her. So that's going to make... So both Grok and Rosie are friendly now with Spear, which was very nice. Hazlen, on the other hand, is too busy cooking and doing all kinds of stuff to notice. The rest of the day, I think, goes by pretty uneventfully. And as night comes, and sunset, the crew heads up top on the main levels of the ship to take in the night air, if you will. Okay, so just after the evening meal, there is a kind of murmur that goes through the crowd. And Spear and Hazlen, who are, eating with, I feel like they're probably eating with Grok, Ambrose, Rosie, and Sandara at this point. A nice little kind of circle has formed here. Oh, and maybe even Sam's, the barefoot Sam's comes over, and the woman sits down to hang out. And there's a rumor going through the pirates saying, hey, it sounds like Mr. Plug is gonna, it sounds like the owlbear wants to fight. And so we come up on top, and the owlbear, strides into the middle of the deck, followed by Mr. Plug. Where's Rosie? Up here. We'll say they were all kind of sitting over here, the 6 of them. Mr. Plug comes up onto the ship, followed by the owlbear. Nope. There we go. Hey, everyone. For tonight's entertainment, the owlbear has so graciously decided to provide us a little bit of sport. The tan-skinned Shawanti man kind of stands up proudly, showing off the feathers that he's been gluing to him all night long, and says, "That's right. Anyone who wishes to come up against me, let's have at it." But good luck, Mr. Plug says, and why not make it interesting? He throws down a purse of gold onto the floor right next to the mast. As it hits the ground, everyone can hear a heavy clink of coin, about 100 gold. And he looks over at Spear and the rest. Why don't one of our newbies take on the owlbear? Spear, frowns and, kind of looks at the group. Hazlen's like, "Oh, hey, 100 gold? Spear, you could easily take him on. I mean, you're both tall and thick and muscular. And that's an easy 100 gold. Hey, maybe we can even wager. Well, I don't really have any money to throw down, but maybe someone else does?" Spear, I'm not particularly interested in fighting tonight. Why not, Spear? Sandara says. Besmara says herself that it's best to keep one's martial skills sharp. Fighting a beast of a man like that, well, there'd be no better way to prove which one of you is the greatest monster. I don't like it when you look at me like that, Sandara. He kind of starts to blush a little bit. Let's go to Rosie. Yeah, come on, Spear. You can fucking take him on. I mean, that guy's a total prick anyway. Maybe put him in his place. Show everyone that you're not to be messed with, huh? Nope. Ambrose. Yeah. I've seen the owlbear beat many a man with his meaty fists. Would be quite a fight and perhaps quite a show. Yeah, that would be pretty fun to watch. Sorry, I'm just going through all the voices. All right. Spear stands up. Okay, Mr. Plug, I will fight this owlbear. And the owlbear. Nope, where is he? Here. Nope, right there. Too many characters. Ah, a worthy opponent. Well, Spear. Too bad you won't be able to use your weapons this time. All right, let's double check this. PCs can choose which of their own will fight owlbear and can bet on their chosen champion. They could throw down money as well. We'll just stick with the 100 gold. I'm not looking to make this mathematically more complicated than it already will be. It's just going to be a fight between two unarmored brutes, essentially. Let me go ahead and open up the owlbear's stat block here. Versus spear. The gathered crowd starts to kind of whoop and cheer as the two opponents square off in the middle of the deck. I think Mr. Plug moves. He's going to move up here. Oops. Sorry. Mr. Plug and Master Scourge are going to move up here, shove this pirate out of the way so they can get a good spot to watch from where they're at. Nice, nice. All right. Okay. You're kind of a, like hits his chin with his fist and squares up. Let's do this then. Okay, the owlbear is rolling a -1. That's still a 12. Not bad for the owlbear. RIP indeed, Midnight. Hella annoying. I had this issue earlier in the week. Just the internet just was not working with me. Did not want to host the stream. Okay, so I think the two of them maybe start off at like a good 5 foot pace from each other. Double check what the AP says here. He's going to do some non-lethal attacks, some unarmed strikes. Yeah, so I think Spear is just going to like step forward, go and punch at the owlbear. Let me go ahead and turn on power attack. And we're going to, for the first time, get to use his Desperate Battler ability. When no ally is within 10 feet of you, and you are not receiving benefits from the Aid Another action, you gain a +1 morale bonus on melee attack and damage rolls. So we'll go ahead and turn Alone on as well. He's actually really good at fighting by himself. So... yeah, he's going to be doing some massive damage if he hits. And he should hit because the owlbear only has an AC of 9. Yeah, let's do it. Punch, punch, punch. 18, hell yeah. Hell yeah. 7 points of damage. That's a minimum damage, folks. Nothing too bad. I feel like I should use my mythic ability, but let's do this one-on-one. No extra kind of bullshit, no spells, no nothing. The power of our muscles. Maybe he even like Witcher style. Before he got into the fight, he like strips off his sailor's tunic, and so he's got his tanned dark olive skin tone is kind of like glistening with the water and sweat that he just kind of like cast on himself after dinner. It's the owlbear next, who he doesn't have power attack, actually. That's kind of interesting. So he's just gonna throw 1d20 +5 here. That's definitely gonna hit though. 1d3 +3, non-lethal, another minimum damage. So like, duck, punch, punch. Like they both just start punching each other in the face, getting these good blows off. Okay. Sorry. Cool. That leaves Spear. He's going to take a 5 foot step over here, kind of like circle around, and throw another punch. 11. That's going to hit. Oops. And he's going to roll 1d3 +6. That's max damage, 9 points of damage. Oops. Sorry. Too many things going on. 9 points. As he moves around to the side, he just boxes the owlbear's ears, almost like immediately kind of like drawing blood from inside. The owlbear like stumbles. From up here, Mr. Plug sees that. And just casually, without even motioning, picks up a club and throws it across the deck, rolling it at the owlbear's feet. He looks down and kind of grins evilly, picks up the club, and goes to smash it across Spear's face, doing some lethal damage. 17, that's definitely going to hit. 1d6 plus 3. For 7 points of lethal damage. He smashes it across Spear's face, blood spraying across the deck. Spear grabs at his mouth, his lips already starting to swell, and kind of like ducks and dodges, moving another 5 feet. He's going to go ahead and use his mythic. He's got 6 more uses of the mythic power. So he's gonna literally kind of roll over to this spot and use a sudden attack, punching twice into the owlbear's stomach. So that first strike is gonna be with advantage. Great, needed that. That 13 plus 4 will hit. 1d3 plus 6 for 9 points of damage. So he strikes him twice in the stomach, and the owlbear goes falling, gets pushed back, and hits up against the mast and slides down to his butt, unconscious. Shit! The crowd goes up in a cheer, and Mr. Plug. Well, not many have been able to take down the owlbear. Good for you. And claps slowly. He throws the 100 gold purse at Spear, who picks it up, nods thankfully, and pockets it. He walks back to his friends, who are quite happy to see him, and they head downstairs back into the hold for some merrymaking. We've got some ship's actions we can take tonight before we head to bed and end day 5. Move them over here. Let's see. What are our 2 crew members gonna do? Let me double check. Spear took quite a bit of damage. He's at 7 hit points. And so I think we put him at 7. I think right away as they come down, Sandara's gonna go ahead and cast a Cure Light Wounds on him. Plus 7 there. 14. That should be enough. When he sleeps, he'll get back 3 hit points. Yeah, and he could also he could also cast Cure Light Wounds on himself. Honest. So, our crew decides to start making merry. I think several pirates kind of come around to Spear to congratulate him on his fight. Let's double check our crew list here. Obviously, none of these hostile crew members, they're all already loyal to Mr. Plug and Master Scourge. But these indifferent ones will definitely come over. Barefoot Sam's definitely comes up, and this kind of older fisherwoman slaps him on the back. Well, way to go, Spear. Honestly, that owlbear, he's he hangs out on the middle deck, sleeping, amongst all the cargo, and his like fancy on his sleeps on the middle deck in his fancy kind of like own space. It's good of you to put him in his place. And Spear says, "Oh, well, thank you, Barefoot Sams. I must say the gold is quite a nice prize as well." Oh yeah, Spear. Yeah, Hazlen kind of perks up. Yeah, you're gonna split some of that gold, right? I mean, if it wasn't for me, you probably wouldn't have even entered into the fight. At which point Sandara says, "Hazlen, I do not see you," and he has an accent. "Hazlen, I do not see you entering into the fight. Besmara rewards those who risk themselves, and I don't think you know much about that." "Oh well, Sandara, don't think me so light. I mean, I can be pretty tough too. You saw me down on the bilge against those rats." "That's right, I saw you. You are quite a cunning and dexterous fighter. But I don't know if you could have stood toe to toe with the owl bear." He looks up and he gives a warm smile to Spear, who he starts to blush a little bit. I think he's developing a little crush on Sandara. I'm going to go ahead and we are going to do 2 influence checks tonight. One for Spear and one for Hazlen. For some of the other folks who come over. Let's say a young gnomish woman, Gifford Tibbs, comes over. She's a bedraggled gnome with one eye. Unfortunately, this is the... I only have these 3 portraits for random pirates. So Sam's and Giffer and all of the almost all the pirates are going to look like one of these 3 pirates. She comes over and looks tired. Introduces herself to Hazlen. "Hey, you're friends with that big and tall one, right? The Spear, I think his name is. Are all gnomes Australian in this setting? They might be. Hey, you're friends with that big and tall one, the Spear, right?" "Oh well, his name's just Spear, not the Spear. And yeah, actually, I am friends with him." He smiles, very fake, almost jealous. Is Hazlen jealous of Spear's popularity here? Hazlen is one to... He does care quite a bit about popularity. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead for the sake of drama, say he's a little jealous. Right, I'm friends with him. In fact, if it weren't for me, he probably wouldn't be on board. I might as well be his manager. You know what I mean? Not sure why he would need a manager. He seems quite capable of managing himself. But I wanted to say, your cooking tonight was quite good. Oh, well, gee, thanks. We're going to go ahead and roll a quick diplomacy check for Hazlen as he tries to influence this NPC. We won't use a mythic. There's nothing really riding on this. He's indifferent, so we're looking at a 14 DC for this. 15. Okay, let me write this down. Hazlen befriends Gifford Tibbs. And for we'll have Jack Scrimshaw come over, a young lad, talented at the Scrimshaw, comes up to Spear. Hey, Spear, that was a pretty good fight. I gotta say, I heard how I saw your handiwork in the bilge yesterday. Those rats, they were huge. I can't believe you managed to kill them all. Right, well, I had help, of course. Hazlen and the mistress Sandara. Sandara looks over like, mistress? Oh, well, if you ever need anything, just let me know. Pretty strong. This is important because having won this fight, Spear is going to get +2 to all social checks on any crew members for the rest of this adventure because of his combat with the owlbear. And Spear nods. We're going to go ahead and make a diplomacy check for him. Like I said, I'm not going to use mythic power. It's not that important. But he does get a +2. Natural 20. So Jack Scrimshaw is not just a friend of Spear, is now a fan of Spear. Which I think is a bigger difference. So Hazlen and Spear end their 5th night aboard the Wormwood, surrounded by some new friends and even a few new fans, as we wrap up this session of the Spear and the Sea. Thanks so much for hanging out today, guys. Guys and gals and non-binary pals. Super appreciate it. Hanging out here while we do our Pathfinder solo stream. I'm just looking real quick for someone to raid. So if you're willing to hang out for the raid, it is it makes quite a difference. It's helpful when I have friends come along as we raid folks. We're gonna go over to the experience points channel. Experience points, where they are streaming Starfinder, which is a great game. Also, if you are into science fantasy at all, I will be running a Starfinder campaign starting tomorrow, running bi-weekly on Manapot Studios. So definitely check us out over there. Thanks again, everyone. I hope you have a great night and a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned for the raid.